Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sometimes I wonder, Mr. Speaker, why things happen. And when I hear all in a sudden the opposition on a rampage, calling me ridiculous, calling me, what's the J in my name stands for, calling us liars, calling us deceit. Everyone has just come out of the woodwork all in a sudden, Mr. Speaker. Town hall meetings, talk shows. Mr. Speaker, I wonder why. Because I know 2 years have come, and the day of reckoning is at least, for the most, 3 years away. But Mr. Speaker, I wondered why, Mr. Speaker. Why all in a sudden there is that concerted attack, all kind of slogans, St. Lucia in trouble, all kind of, and no basis. Every day there's a lie. Every day there's a story on United Park about something that never happened. Just say it once and refuse to say it again every day, Mr. Speaker. And I wonder why, Mr. Speaker, why? So, Mr. Speaker, as I always said, I take my time before I say anything. And I've been threatened. Show what you have. You're only talking. One of them came over and said, I can speak neither English nor patois. All kind of things to speak. Mr. Speaker, but I want to start where the former Prime Minister ended, Mr. Speaker. And he speaks about that situation, Mr. Speaker. And I didn't know he knew. I'm surprised that he knows, Mr. Speaker, because I was keeping that for later. But he outflanked me. And he said it before me. But I'll go further, I'll go further. There is more to that, Mr. Speaker. Do you know that for that transaction in 2020, 2,560,190 million was paid in commission?
What?
Yes, yes. So you know why there's all the noise? You see why all the noise, Mr. Speaker? You see why all the attacks on me? You see why all they are trying to destabilize? How they trying to destabilize the police force? You see why, Mr. Speaker? These are the things that they do not want people to know. I'll say it again. And I'll give you the date when it's paid, if you interfere with me. 2,560,190 million was fees paid in an account in Panama. Mind your business. So, Mr. Speaker, so you understand why? You understand why there are so many threats and trying to blindfold Mr. Speaker, never in the history of St. Lucia, or for a long time in St. Lucia's history, 3 hotels have been built at one time. 3. Never before, Mr. Speaker, in the recent history, the last 5 years of this country's history, Mr. Speaker, there has been so much construction in the last 5 years. Construction. Never before have so many people want to go into business, Mr. Speaker, in the last 5 years. The youth economy, the micron, the small, the SME acts, the loan funds, Mr. Speaker. The people are looking to go into enterprise, but the opposition says St. Lucia is in trouble, and they want to even compare St. Lucia, Mr. Speaker. But the member for Viva South is right. The kind of things we say about our own country, The kinds of things we say about our own country, the way we want to denigrate our country, Mr. Speaker, for politics. They compare St. Lucia to Haiti. All kinds of things, Mr. Speaker, because they do not want to answer what the member for Vieux-Fort South said. You don't want to answer it. Why are loan funds which will be repaid? And he said 10. It's not 10, it's 20. 20 million. 54 million US EC dollars. Why are loan funds negotiated with the Exim Bank in Taiwan paid to the account of a private company in the Bank of Panshin? And Mr. Speaker, look at the difference, Mr. Speaker. Loan agreement ban between St. Lucia and the Export-Import Bank, Republic of China. Loan number dated October 27, 2014. That is when the member for Vieux-Fort South was Prime Minister. And it says, in accordance with Section 202 of the captioned loan agreement, we thereby request advance in the amount to be made to our New York accounts, name of account, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, for further credits to the borrower's bank account as follows. Name of account holder, Government of St. Lucia operating accounts, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Bastes and Kitts. Let me explain to you, Mr. Speaker, to listeners what it means. Because tomorrow you'll hear a spin.
You spin.
I didn't say that. Tomorrow you'll hear the diversions. Tomorrow you'll hear all kind of things. Tomorrow you'll hear about a member of parliament's visa. Just to shift it, take it away. Tomorrow you'll hear all kind of things about I pronounced something wrong or this and that. Tomorrow you hear all kind of things. Deflections, take it away. But I never said that colonialism has a conscience. And let's go to the loan agreement, Mr. Speaker, dated January 20th, 2020, between the government of St. Lucia and the same Export-Import Bank. And let me read it for you, Mr. Speaker. US 20 million. Loan agreement dated January 20th, 2020, between St. Lucia, acting for the Ministry of Finance, Economic Growth, Job Creation, External Affairs, and the Public Service as the borrower, and the Export-Import Bank. Now I want to read this for you together, Mr. Speaker. These agreements have some similar situations, just like the one which I read this morning. Listen to the one in 2020, when the member for Vieux-Fort South was the Minister of Finance. In accordance with Section 202 of the caption loan agreement, we hereby request that an advance in the amount of US be made to the account of Overseas Engineering and Construction Company Limited, S.A., as designated. Name of account holder, Overseas Engineering and Construction Company Limited, Beneficiary Bank, Bank of Panshin. Such advance shall be made by you within 15 days from the day of receipt of the request for an advance, and all certificates, opinions, and all other documents to be given on the loan agreement, each in form and substance, satisfactory to you. Satisfactory to you, the company, Mr. Speaker. But in the 2014 agreement, it goes to the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank where it will be cleared and then sent to the government of St. Lucia. The question, Mr. Speaker, the question is, how was that $20 million spent? That's the question. The question is, Mr. Speaker, how was that $20 million spent? According to the loan agreement, Mr. Speaker. You know what you'll hear tomorrow? Oh, that's nothing. The money was used to pay for the hospital. I just want to hear that, Mr. Speaker. I just want to hear that. Because, Mr. Speaker, say no more. So, Mr. Speaker, so you understand why there's all that noise? You understand why there are so many personal attacks? You understand why there's so many talk shows, so many town hall meetings, so much accusations? You understand why? You understand why all of them have come up, Mr. Speaker? Because poule qui chante, what? C'est poule qui pond. That is called flashing mirrors, Mr. Speaker. Dirty the atmosphere. Throw it here, throw it there. But you do not account, Mr. Speaker, for the things that cause our country the way it is today, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going further, Mr. Speaker. Again, how the opposition and the surrogates deceive, Mr. Speaker. All over, you heard him say several times, an old building, an old building, an old building. That's what he said several times, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, do you know, and there are some people in the United States and in England who follow that, Mr. Speaker, who repeat that. Do you know, Mr. Speaker, in these countries now, all buildings are being refurbished and put together, Mr. Speaker? All buildings, Mr. Speaker, they're being cleared and put together. You understand? All buildings. And you say, oh, and when we speak about the prison, Mr. Speaker, some people who know better tell you that it was good to march on this prison because it is a place of atrocities, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, do you know in Mexico, the president of Mexico, his house is an old prison? I went there. But you know, they come here and they know better. But they deliberately, Mr. Speaker, because they don't like Philip J Pierre, because they feel that Philip J should not be Prime Minister, or because they like Kenny Anthony, they say all these things to fool people. In Mexico, a prison. Prisons, but you know, but in St. Lucia, they tell you it's an old prison. Atrocities is what happened there. So break it up. Mr. Speaker, our tourism doesn't only depend on sea, sand, and sun. There is tourism, Mr. Speaker, where you want to know the history, the archaeology, the history of the country, the patrimony of the country, Mr. Speaker. And that is why we support the moves that are being taken to have a museum in St. Lucia, a proper museum. Because, Mr. Speaker, that is what our people. But you know, we deliberately, Mr. Speaker, mislead our people, lie to them, and tell them about making 21 islands, and state-of-the-art hospital, and state-of-the-art airport. Mr. Speaker, do you know, Mr. Speaker, that there are no plans for the box? And do you know, all the work that is happening at the St Jude Hospital now, Mr. Speaker, planning approval has been received for about 5 of the buildings at St Jude Hospital. Planning approval. Planning approval. Because we refuse to work on it without planning approval. And if you go there today, you will see the planning approval stamped and signed. Tell them to show you the planning approval for the box. But they command all kind of things. State of the art, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, do you know that the box was supposed to have 90 rooms, And you know what they tell you? It's for the first floor. Why is he working on the other floor? I mean, that's the thing. That's what these guys say. And people believe them. And I'm saying to the supporters of the United Workers' Party, when men tell you things, check it out, man. Check it out. How can you have a hospital on one floor and working on top floor? In 6 months, a hospital that when rain fell, flooded the place, would be ready in 6 months? That's 90% complete? There is no document. The document from the Ministry of Finance said that the hospital was 30% complete and that spent $118 million. And there are bills, and there are still bills. Because and there are still bills to be paid. Bills to be paid on that box. $6.21 million on consultancies and other contractors. Still, apart from the $70 million direct award that the minister spoke about. I'm not going to mention the consultant's name. That's not my style. But do you have a hospital that was how much percent? 90% complete? Yes. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, the member for Beaufort South began to read from a document that he calls the St Jude Hospital Reconstruction Project. Mr. Speaker, do you know that we sat there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us. And I stood in the Honorable House and I said there was a St Jude Hospital Reconstruction report. You know there's a certain member here who denied it? He denied it. They said that don't exist. But we knew that they got it. And when the document was leaked, that document wasn't put out by the government, you know. That document wasn't put out by the government. The document is very convenient now for him to read from. It's just leaked on social media. And they never said it existed. But today, the leader of the opposition come and read from it. Read. And only reads what he wants. And when I stop him, he say, because we like Stephen King so much, he didn't call Stephen King names. But here's what he says, Mr. Speaker. He says that $98 million are spent on the box, on the buildings, Mr. Speaker. What he calls the old buildings, denigrating St. Lucia's history. Old buildings, he calls it. Old. That's what he says. Old buildings, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is nowhere in that document. There is nowhere in that document, Mr. Speaker, that says that there were bills of $40 million. There is nowhere in that document that says that. But he comes here and he says that the bill will cost $130 million. That they were bills of $140 million. There is nowhere in that document. Nowhere in that document. But that is what he gets away with. These are the things he gets, and to get to divert you from the real issues, they say all kinds of things, Mr. Speaker. Nowhere, Mr. Speaker. Nowhere. But, Mr. Speaker, he talks about home porting. Again, Mr. Speaker, again, Mr. Speaker, there is no evidence that says that Beaufort could ever be a home port. You know why? Because, Mr. Speaker, fact is that you need a cluster of rooms to make a home port, Mr. Speaker. So what Vieux-Fort supposed to be? Vieux-Fort could have been a hub. But in terms of home potting, that was something that was in the distance. Again, bluff. Again, fooling people. Fooling people again, Mr. Speaker. Because for some reason, and I'm glad the member for Vieux-Fort South said so, for some reason, they had their eyes on Vieux-Fort, their eyes on the South. But the people know differently, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, on a final note about St. Jude, Mr. Speaker, you know, people talk about the emotions of St. Jude. You know, before my deceased mother passed away, Mr. Speaker, we flew on a plane from VG to Iwanora for my mother to go to St. Jude. And in those times, the airport regulations were not as tough, Mr. Speaker. So they put her on a stretcher and they removed the seats and they put her on the seats in a stretcher. And I sat in the plane with the pilot and we flew out to St. Jude, Mr. Speaker. And she got treated in St. Jude and we drove back when she was better. So I understand the emotion of St. Jude, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm very pleased that in spite of all the efforts to denigrate St. Jude, call it old buildings, to say all kinds of things about it, Mr. Speaker, we are going to be completing St. Jude Hospital for the people of St. Lucia. And again, this waste that took place in St. Jude, Mr. Speaker, there's a reason. There's a reason why, and we'll find the reason. There's a reason why these buildings were not completed and that box was built, was attempted to be built. There's a reason why, Mr. Speaker. But all I say to the people of St. Lucia is that reason will be known, Mr. Speaker. It will be known because there's a reason why. And there's also a reason why you have all that sudden rush of attacks and rush of lies and rush of personal attacks and rush of calling people names all in a sudden, Mr. Speaker. There's a reason why. The reason is that the people of St. Lucia, when the truth comes out, because they know very well what they did, that it'll take time to reveal the truth. They know very well what they did will take time for the truth to be revealed, like the member for Vieux-Fort South started today. It will take time. They know very well it will take time. It doesn't happen in a year or two. It takes time. It takes time. These things take time. So they believe that something is coming, soon come. They believe something soon come. So before it soon come, they begin to crowd it. So you know what they'll say? That's politics. Politics. As soon as it comes, they'll say it's politics. Politics.
It'll be completely finished.
You understand? And that's the reason why. That's the reason, Mr. Speaker. That's the reason. Because you want to hide. You want to make a lot of noise now. So when what has to happen will happen. When what has to be told will be told. When the stories that have to come out will come out, the people of the country will be so confused, they say it's just politics, Mr. Speaker. And that's the reason why. That's the reason why. So, Mr. Speaker, the truth will always prevail. And again, I want to thank the people of Vieux-Fort for their patience. I want to thank the two prime ministers in this building for their understanding and their persistence in getting the hospital built, Mr. Speaker, and the people who work there and the patients. I want to give you the solemn promise that you will get your hospital at the soonest possible opportunity. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.